Donald Trump is planning on using Navy warships off the coast of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean to launch missiles into California, specifically to launch missiles into Camp Pendleton. This will coincide with the No Kings protests, which are taking place on Saturday, where they are expected to be particularly large in San Diego, as in many metropolitan areas across the country. Our sources have told us, and Midas Touch Network was the first to break this news, that Donald Trump is planning, under the pretext of a 250th anniversary celebration for the Marines, to conduct these naval marine exercises, which will involve shooting missiles into the territory of the United States in Camp Pendleton. Midas Touch was the first to break the story. California Governor Gavin Newsom then confirmed the steps that he was taking to fight back and mitigate the damage and destruction that could take place. This is how terrified the Trump regime is of the No Kings protest. And this is Donald Trump escalating actions against California by literally shooting missiles into Camp Pendleton in California. This had never before happened in United States history. The I-5 highway is expected to be shut down as well. J.D. Vance is expected to be leading this. They're calling it a ceremony and celebration, but it is clearly a show of force in order to intimidate the people living in California, and in my view, the No Kings protesters, the peaceful protesters who are going to be out and about. Here's the exclusive that the Midas Touch Network broke. Trump may launch missiles from warships into California this Friday and Saturday as part of what is being described as a vanity parade, and shut down portions of the I-5 highway during the No Kings protest. Sources tell Midas Touch the White House will shut down portions of the I-5 for Vice President J.D. Vance's Marine Corps Navy spectacle during the No Kings protests. This could trigger chaos, gridlock, and outrage as troops remain another casualty and victim of this government shutdown. The Trump regime is apparently finalizing plans, we learn, for 2 days of events under the pretext of the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Marine Corps. Sources close to Midas Touch describe the closure as part of a vanity parade that may involve Navy warships shooting live missiles into Camp Pendleton as a show of force. Governor Newsom responded to our reporting. It says, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance think that shutting down the I-5 to shoot out missiles from ships is how you respect the military. Put aside your vanity parade and pay our troops instead. Governor Newsom's press account writes, this would be an absurd show of force and totally uncalled for during a government shutdown when members of the military cannot even get a paycheck. This was a well-sourced story by our journalists at the Midas Touch Network. Aaron Parnas was the first to break this story that is since going viral across the entire United States. One of the things, if you look at the flight patterns and the flight restrictions for this Friday, Saturday, the 17th and the 18th, you'll see that temporary flight restrictions for special security reasons are now in place. That's expected to be because of the missiles that may be shot from these Navy warships into the Camp Pendleton military base. Horrific that I even have to say that. Since we reported, Los Angeles Times confirmed our earlier reporting. I-5 may be shut down due to concerns over live fire military event at Camp Pendleton. Parts of the I-5 may be closed beginning Friday over concerns Navy ships will fire live ordinances over the freeway during the military celebration. The potential closure would affect a section between Orange and San Diego counties, cutting off a major artery serving more than 80,000 daily travelers. Newsom's office
I'm gonna be honest a little bit though. This is why Ben be going there sometimes. He did make it seem like he was gonna be firing on like Newsom's office or something like that, but it's still it's a confusing situation. It's gonna be some mess.
Criticizes the Trump administration for lack of coordination on the Camp Pendleton event featuring Vice President J.D. Vance and 15,000 attendees there. Just so you remember what it looked like in San Diego, tens of thousands of people, 30, 50,000 people, maybe more, showed up at the last No Kings protest that took place there. You remember how big the crowds were in.
I wish they wouldn't do any kind of mess around it, because already with this many people, it's so easy for a life to be lost. So I wish they wouldn't make it more confusing, but it might be a coincidence. Who knows?
In San Diego, and we see the MAGA Republicans engaging in all sorts of intimidation tactics regarding No Kings protests, in addition to these military strikes that may be taking place inside the United States. I can't even believe I'm saying that sentence right there. MAGA Republican leaders all day yesterday, all day this morning, they've been saying No Kings is pro-Hamas. They say No Kings is pro-Antifa. They say No Kings is pro-terrorist. They say No Kings is extremist, hate America. This is how these MAGA Republicans who are literally stealing healthcare from 20 million Americans while giving $40 billion to Argentina, while they rip to shreds our government, while they destroy government agencies, have led us into construction and manufacturing recessions. 22 states are in recessionary modes right now as they rip away healthcare and education, as prices are going up across the board. This is what these fascists are saying. Here, play this clip.
This No Kings rally this weekend, that's the blue hair anthropomorphic, experiment that's going to happen up here in Washington, D.C.
I encourage you to watch. We call it the Hate America rally that'll happen Saturday. Let's see who shows up for that. I bet you see pro-Hamas supporters. I bet you see Antifa types. I bet you see the Marxists in full display, the people who don't want to stand and defend the foundational truths of this republic.
This crazy No Kings rally this weekend, which is going to be the farthest left, the hardest core, the most unhinged in the Democratic Party, which is, a big title. And, no kings equal no paychecks. No kings equal no paychecks.
Clearly, the Democrat Party of today is not your grandfather's Democrat Party. They care about one thing and one thing only: appeasing the radical.
While we all know AI is here to help, not all AI is actually
pro-terrorist wing of their party.
The same crowd planning to protest at their I Hate America rally this weekend.
Well, one of the things that I hope Cass Patel and Pam Bondi are looking into is, the funding of these groups. Who pays for the buses to bus a lot of these folks in? Who pays for the trucks that have riot gear that they hand out to the peaceful protesters? Again, I hope they are peaceful here, the No Kings protest or whatever. But again, it's absurd.
Too. We shouldn't have to wait until the Hate America rally this weekend.
All right, I've got some news for you. Let me show you a tale of two headlines. The first from the Financial Times: U.S. moves to cancel one of the world's largest solar farms. Trump administration scraps approval for 6.2 gigawatt Nevada project. Now, let me show you this one, the New York Times: why China built 162 square miles of solar panels on the world's highest plateau. I had to interrupt Ben's report quickly to share this with you because this is insane. The Trump administration's war on clean energy is quite literally putting America last, handing the future to China. Solar. As the New York Times editorial board recently noted, a major purpose of Biden's clean energy initiatives was to counter China in this space and ensure that the United States, not China, leads the economy of the future. Now, as a result of Trump removing funding and tax credits for wind and solar projects, energy prices are soaring. And with the growth of AI data centers draining resources and driving up costs, We need these renewable energy sources more than ever. Per the New York Times, Chinese companies now produce 60% of the world's wind turbines and 80% of its solar panels. The US is falling further behind by the day, and it's the American people who are suffering. We're going to continue highlighting these climate issues, but we need you to speak out as well. So if you can, leave your thoughts in the comments about the climate and about this report. Let's make some noise. Okay, Ben, back to you.
In contrast, you have Senator Bernie Sanders speaking on CNN last night about the No Kings protests, and he says, this is a Love America rally. So true, so true. Here, play this clip.
I mean, I would just add as an example, this Saturday, millions of people are going to come out on a No Kings Day. Maybe more people coming out than any time in American history. Speaker Johnson said this is a Hate America rally because people are coming out expressing their concerns about massive cuts to healthcare and the movement toward authoritarianism. Not a Hate America, it's a Love America. But the point is, instead of attacking each other in that way, in my view, what we got to do is lay the issues out on the table. We got a healthcare.
I sort of feel like we just need to tell all politicians they're not allowed to be on social media. They should only be a limited amount of media access. Because y'all just yapping away at this point. Yapping away, fighting. When, meanwhile, they agree on 99% of the issues. They only disagree on the very fringe. Y'all fighting. Imagine you were at a birthday party. The whole day was good. Everyone said, hey, we gonna get here at this time. We got here at this time. Great. Everyone said, bring a gift. Everyone brought a gift. Everyone said, we gonna eat pizza. Everyone liked pizza. Everybody said, we gonna watch this movie. We watched this movie. Now, at the end of the movie, let's say one guy says, you know, I'm gonna grab an extra bottle of apple juice just because I want to finish the night off. And one person says, yo, we shouldn't be having apple juice here. And then the whole thing turns out into an all-out brawl. Nobody's talking to nobody because one person said they wanted to add the apple juice to the thing. He said, hey, you gonna really mess us up. Man, we spent $357 on this party. You're going to take us to $362. That's very cheap apple juice, by the way, but maybe they're 20-ounce bottles. Okay, so now we're going to make it all about that one thing. Y'all had fun all day, but because of one disagreement, it's called ego addiction. I'll watch it.
Crisis. Do we not, friends? All right. We're the only country not to guarantee health care at all. How do we move to a healthcare system that guarantees health care to a human right? Make sense to you? All right. 70, 80 years ago in this country, if you went to a public college or university, you know what your tuition was? $0.
So this is my Rust project. I have 4 terminal clients, all with this chat interface running off one server.
And yet you got all of this increased worker productivity, all of the technology. People can't afford to send their kids to college. They can't afford childcare. People are paying outrageous costs in housing. How do we build the millions of units of affordable low-income housing that we desperately need? How do we save the planet for our kids and transform our energy system away from fossil fuel? Do you know that millions of senior citizens in this country are trying to get by on $15,000 a year or less? They helped build this country. They fought for our country. They're in nursing homes, which are horrible places right now because they're underfunded, understaffed. We are the richest country in the history of the world. How do we provide a good quality life for our kids? Should we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major nation? Highest rate of senior poverty? Those are the issues. You disagree with me? Fine. You got a better idea than mine? Great. Let's go forward. Let's discuss those issues. Let's not attack each other personally, that we're un-American, that we hate America. That's nonsense. That just divides us. Let's come together. Let's discuss the real issues. Let us create the kind of extraordinary country that we know we can create.
Then you have Democratic Senator Chris Murphy making the following video. Let's play this clip.
So the big No Kings protest is coming up on Saturday. This is a really important day. It's a day for this country to stand up and say that we've had enough with the destruction of democracy, the building of Trump's censorship state, the evisceration of our healthcare. But it's pretty incredible how Republicans are showing their true colors. They're showing us how much they hate democracy. They're showing us how much they hate free speech. The rhetoric has ramped up from Republican leaders in the last few days. These aren't sort of fringe actors in the conservative movement. These are the leaders of the House Republican Conference calling the protesters that are going to show up on Saturday terrorists, saying that No Kings is a hate rally. What Republicans are basically telling you is that they hate free speech.
All right, I think I'm going to call it there, you guys, just because it doesn't seem like the rest of this has anything to do with the missile launch, which is the main reason I watched this. But yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what I said, what they said. I'm going to try to watch some right-wing stuff, some left-wing stuff. Just get more political reactions in here. Let's see what people are talking about. Let's just see. And let's blow this channel up while we see. See you later.